Welcome to the Cornermen. It's Jesse Rican, and go ahead, Mama's Boy, introduce yourself.
Dennis the Mama's Boy Douglas. What's going on?
Dennis Mama's Boy Douglas. What's going on with you, man? How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Back in the gym training, getting ready for a fight. Just got off the phone with Al Heyman and the team, and fighting either between on January 15th or February 9th. So we're just trying to lock down the exact date and the opponent now. So things are going good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And this is going to be the official start of the show, Sunday nights. Me and Dennis Mama's Boy Douglas, the Cornermen, where we will interview some of your favorite boxing personalities. I'm looking forward to the interview what we got tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great interview. I like just hearing the perspective coming from a referee and stuff like that. Like it's a totally different view they have as opposed to a fan or a reporter because they're in the ring. So it'd be great to hear his opinion on certain fighters and stuff like that.
Now we recently lost Hector Camacho. I really didn't get a chance to talk about it that much. One of the reasons why I watch boxing. I mean, what does Camacho mean to you?
I mean, he's one of the legends, man. He's a great boxer, and more than just being a great boxer, he's a great personality, which was big for boxing. It was huge. He was a superstar. When you have great boxers all over, but when they can bring in they can draw the crowd with their presence outside of the ring, and then be able to get into the ring and perform as well as he performed, man, it's a big loss for our community. So rest in peace to Camacho. I mean, I love Camacho, man. He was a great fighter.
A huge rest in peace to Hector Camacho, man. Like, I don't know, man. Just like watching him work. I mean, people say he was faster than Floyd. Would you go as far as saying that much?
I mean, it's hard to compare Camacho to anybody in this generation, this era. I mean, he was in a different era, but he was fast, man. He was great, man. I mean, him in his prime. As fast as I would say he rivals Floyd's speed. I wouldn't say he's faster or slower, but he's definitely up there as one of the fastest.
Rest in peace to Hector Camacho. We definitely lost him in the boxing. And yesterday, Jesse Rican was disappointed with Cotto losing. I mean, you were there. What's your take on it?
I think Cotto is just I mean, great fight. I have nothing but respect for Cotto. He's one of the top 10 of our era, and I just think it might be time for him to hang it up. He's not the same fighter since the Margarito and the Pacquiao losses, and I think he should hang it up. He fought hard. It wasn't like he just walked in there and laid down. He fought hard, but he wasn't the same Cotto. Wasn't the same pressure.
I hated this fight from the get-go, though. I said Austin Trout is a danger for no reason. Like, why take Austin Trout? First of all, he could beat you. He's not going to give you the pay-per-view, no. He didn't even get him on paper. You see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. He's an awkward southpaw. He's tall. He's a good fighter and he's under the radar. Not the most exciting fighter. So, like you said, he's not exciting or very well known. So he's not going to draw in big numbers. So you would think in Cotto's corner, it probably wasn't the best fight to take. But that's what people love about Cotto. He takes the tough fights. He takes the fights that people say he shouldn't take or that aren't necessarily the smartest fights. So, I mean, he was the champion. Cotto wanted to fight the champion. They say he went 20-something fights in a row fighting for world titles. That's amazing. So I take my hat off to him for fighting the fight. He fought a good fight. He just didn't do enough. I think he didn't do enough to pull it off, especially in the last later rounds.
What are you saying? Does Cotto hang it up at this point?
In my opinion, I think he should. I mean, he's still going to go out as one of the greatest fighters of our era again. And why keep going? I mean, you got to know when to stop. I mean, he didn't take too much damage. I kind of want him
to go out on a win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I hear you, but what is he going to do? He's going to go out there and win against a sub-caliber opponent? Because I don't think he has the same drive in him to fight those great fighters. So even going fighting, I don't think he'll get a good win against a good opponent anymore. So he can go out on a win, but it won't be against anybody on his level, so I don't think it's worth it.
All right, we got 267. I think I know who this is. Is this Tim Cudgett?
Hey, Jesse, what's going on? Yeah, it's Tim Cudgett. How's it going, Dennis?
What's up, man? Wait. This is Tim Cudgett. ATG Radio, my homeboy. We're bringing on Richard Steele soon. What's your whole take on everything, Tim? Camacho and
losing
Cotto fight last night.
We lost a lot of members of the boxing community this past year. It's been a tough year, culminating with
rest in peace to Manny Stewart too.
Of course, Johnny Tapia as well. But it culminated with the loss of Hector Macho Camacho. He was like the original, other than Ali with his slick talk, and he was the original flamboyant fighter. He came to the ring. He made a show. He was one of the first guys to really make a show on his ring walk to the ring to bring that excitement to the crowd. And he was a great fighter also. So it's just we lost a all-out legend in the boxing community. May he rest in peace.
Your thoughts on last night's fight?
Last night's fight, to be honest with you, I didn't get to catch it yet. I was covering the Spadafora Egerbine fight on GFL.TV this Saturday. But from what I heard, like my prediction on Boxing Team was that Cotto was going to win a split decision. I really didn't think Trout could win a close fight or even a decision in New York against Cotto. But, the judges surprised me in a good way this time. And from what I heard, Trout earned that win. And, he was a titleist. He was a titleist in 154, but yesterday a star was born in boxing.
Right. You got any questions for Dennis? I'm going to try to get the guest of the hour on. You sticking with us, Tim?
Yeah, I'll stick with you. Yeah, so Dennis, I heard you mention you just got off the phone about a potential fight coming up, man. What's going on with training? How's it going?
Training's been going great. As you know, I'm coming off the loss in June against Jamel Charlo, so it took like 2 months just to step back from boxing a little bit, and I just had to get my head together. Not wondering whether I want to box again, because it's always been in my. I want to box. I love boxing. I want to be a world champion. But with the thing is, I didn't want to rush back in trying to get a win so fast that I wasn't able to fully learn from the loss and everything like that. So we just analyzed the whole situation.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. We have the guest of the hour, Richard Steele, one of the greatest referees to ever do it. Richard Steele, I have Dennis Mama's boy Douglas with me, and I have Tim Cudges. Say what's up, guys.
What's going on? How's everything?
Good, all right, Mr. Steele, I wanted to get into the show. First of all, we were just talking about Camacho's memory. I mean, any memories that you have of him?
Yeah, well, Hector Camacho was a great fighter. Not only was he a great fighter, but he was a great entertainer. I mean, wherever he went, whoever he spoke to, they remember him because he always left something there when he left.
I don't know if you got a chance to see the fight last night, the Cotto fight. What's your take on it and your opinion?
Yeah, I saw Cotto fight last night. Cotto, he has came to the end of his road. I think it's over with. He has had a wonderful career. He has fought some great fights, and the guy Trump, what's his name? Trout was a little too fast for him and too young.
I mean, I was telling Mama's boy this earlier on the show. I just feel like he shouldn't have taken the fight to begin with. I feel like it was a bad fight. I didn't like the fight in general for Cotto.
Well, no. If I was Cotto's manager or advisor, I would have never took that fight. First of all, especially, I would have gave him at least 1 or 2 fights before, but at the same time, I would have made sure that I built up the gate or built up the money. I don't think he got paid for what he should have got, especially if it's going to be his last fight.
All right. Mama's boy, you're live on the air with Richard Steele. Go ahead.
How you doing? I mean, just touching back on whether Cotto should have fought and shot or not. I mean, again, like you said, Charles a very awkward fighter, southpaw, tall. But to be honest with you, I mean, if you look at the geography of the 154 weight class, there really was nobody for Cotto to fight if he wanted to fight a top fighter. I mean, if it wasn't Austin Trout, who was it going to be? Sal Alvarez? Unfortunately, Austin Trout was probably his safest fight. It just goes to show you that Cotto, like you said, is at the end of his road. A great fighter, a legend of our era. But, I mean, it's just, I think that if he wanted a top fight, that probably was the safest fight, and he still couldn't win that one. So, I think it's just time for him to
I mean, don't get me wrong. If he thinks this was the end of his road, if he wanted to see just where he was at, skill-wise, this was the right fight for him to take because it showed him, that it's over with. When it comes to a young, gifted fighter that can do a whole lot of things other than just stand toe-to-toe. I mean, this kid really boxing good. And even though, he lost, it was still not a one-sided fight because at one time the fight was even.
I agree 100%. And I was telling somebody at the fight because I had the pleasure of sparring with Austin Trout and Cotto at one point. And somebody was asking me based off me sparring both of them what I thought was going to happen with the fight. And I picked Austin Trout actually in the close decision because I feel like Austin, like when I spar him, like I said, he's very awkward, but he's fast, he's sharp. And he makes movements that you wouldn't expect for a southpaw. And I think he's a good fighter. He's really good. So and then sparring Cotto was always tough in coming forward as a fighter. But you noticed later on in his career, he started to box a lot more. He boxed a lot more. He didn't have that same pressure on top of you, throwing bombs, going to the body. He wasn't that guy anymore. He was still very good, very effective with his boxing, but he wasn't that same pressure fighter that he was early on in his career. So I felt like that's what he needed to be in order to be Austin Trout because he wouldn't be able to outbox him. And it showed last night in the later rounds. Austin Trout was able to pick him apart with the boxing skills.
Yeah, you're right. And the reason why it went to decision is because Cotto still has some fight in him. Cotto still was very smart, and he knew how to get through the rounds. He knew to work the last 20 seconds of the round to make the fight even or make it close, But I thought he did everything he could, but you could see at the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, he started fading, and that's what made him lose the fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Tim Condis, you're live on the air with Richard Steele. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Richard. Okay. I want to talk about something a little bit different other than Trout and Cotto. I mean, back a while back before my time in boxing, well, maybe, I did watch it on network TV, but boxing's going to be back on network TV this month. Now, originally it was supposed to be one fight, which was Cunningham versus Adamak, but Golden on NBC. But now it looks like it was just announced Leo Santa Cruz is going to be fighting on CBS 1 week before. What are your thoughts on boxing being back on network television as opposed to just Showtime and HBO?
Well, let me say this, I've been in boxing all my life, okay? I need somebody to help boxing. So if it's NBC, CBS, whatever, if they can come back in the game and bring some interest in the game where the public, the normal public can see some good fights, I'm all for it because we are losing out. There's three reasons why we are in the position we're in. One is that we don't have the fighters. The fighters, they don't spend the time in the gym, really learn the craft. And the next thing you know, they on TV already with 10, 12 fights and showcasing and getting a title fight at 15 fights. And next thing you know, they lose and, or they make money and they go on somewhere else. I think money stops a lot of the kids from really working hard to become a top fighter because they get paid too much too soon. Second of all is the trainers. We don't have no trainers. I mean, very few good trainers are left. a lot of the guys has died, and they didn't teach nobody else. Or a lot of the younger fighters, the younger trainers, they never took the time to really learn from these old guys. So we are losing in boxing because of the fighters, of the trainers, lack of trainers, and exposure. You know, there's not enough boxing. I mean, you can look at mixed martial arts almost every day. The UFC is somewhere on TV, but we don't have boxing on TV. So I'm very happy to hear that the networks are coming back to boxing because we need it.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more. And then I'm going to kick back one more question to the Cotto Trout. Basically, like we were saying earlier, a lot of people are saying it could be the end of the road for Cotto, but Richard Schaefer from Golden Boy came out yesterday after the fight and said he felt it was a closer fight than the scorecard said. I remember Oscar De La Hoya on Twitter saying he had Cotto winning the fight. And it looks like they're still positioning themselves for the May 4th showdown for Canelo and Cotto, even though Trout was the clear victor last night. But we know from past issues, Trout seemed to be X'd out as an opponent for Canelo because he holds another title, and the WBC refuses to allow their champions to unify with other champions. So this is kind of like a two-part question. Do you think Canelo and Cotto should go down at this point? And the second part, what are your thoughts on the WBC not allowing their fighters to unify with other sanctioning bodies' champions?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the WBC. They have a couple guys. They're really not that good, so they don't want to get them beat off. They're not that great of fighters. So they don't want to take the chance of losing them. That's the reason why they don't want to do that. Let me tell you, if they had a Julio Cesar Chavez, they had a Muhammad Ali, those guys, just look at the stats, look at the records. Those guys fought any and everyone all over the world. They fight you in your backyard. They'll fight you wherever you want to fight, because they were real good fighters. So we don't have that skill level of fighters today. So WBC all they're doing is protecting their fighters, protecting their champions, because TV, whatever TV we have, they want title fights. So WBC gets paid every time a title fight, every time they put their belt up for challenge, they get paid. So that's what it's all about.
I love the fact, and you mentioned Julio Cesar Chavez, and I know this is a touchy subject, so I just want to touch on it, and then we'll leave it alone after that. But
go ahead.
Julio Cesar Chavez, Mildred Taylor. 2 seconds. You caught a lot of controversy off of stopping that fight.
Yes.
Your opinion on it and your whole outtake on the situation.
Safety. My whole opinion has been, the moment I stopped that fight to the day, it's been the safety of the fighter. The kid was beat up. The kid was a hell of a fighter. He was a gold medal winner, and that one fight took it all out of him. He's never been the same since that night. If I could have stopped it and saved that kid earlier, I would have, because he was taking a beating, even though he was winning on points. It was an amateur kid fighting a pro. That's the way I've always looked at that fight.
Right, and no regrets from that situation.
Good.
Mama's boy, any more questions for Richard Steele?
I just want to touch back on that, if you guys don't mind me talking about the Chavez Taylor fight. I wanted to know, as far as refereeing goes, is there any type of guidelines or anything that you guys look at to determine whether you should stop the fight? Like, because like you said, the kid was winning the fight, but you felt that it was still safer for him, for you guys, for him, and in his best interest for this fight to be stopped. When is that? When do you guys use that, and when is it not? I mean, because I'm looking at fights like
because the guideline is safety. The guideline is the safety. I mean, you want to make sure that this kid has a chance to fight again. You know, you don't want a kid getting killed on your watch. So you got to make sure that you stop these fights on time. One fight is not worth the kid's career. It's not worth the kid's life. So, I mean, it's always best for him to go and come back another day. Go and practice, learn a little more, and come back another day. So it's the referee's duty, it's his job to give this kid that opportunity.
Okay. Tim Gudges?
That's all I had.
We have 919. You're on the line. 919. Are you there? 919 is not talking. 314. You're on the line. 314. Are you there? 314. 314 is not talking. I guess they're just listening today. Mr. Steele, what's your coming? We got to ask you a prediction now. Marquez Pacquiao is coming up December 9th. December 8th. I'm sorry. I always felt like Marquez had Pacquiao's number. I feel like Marquez won all 3 fights. Your prediction?
Okay, Marquez. Let me tell you something about Marquez. Marquez is one of the greatest thinkers in the world of boxing. He can think. He knows how to fight. He's one of the smartest fighters today. As you said, you thought he won. I thought he won. And I am sure that he's going to win this one.
Unanimous decision or knockout? What are you picking?
Yep, I think the problem is we don't know who has lost the most. Has Pacquiao lost the most or Marquez lost the most? But Marquez is so smart. He's so much smarter than Pacquiao. I'm quite sure that he will be there for the duration of the fight.
Right. I mean, I agree 100%. I had Marquez winning all 3 fights. That's just my opinion. I mean, I know he did get knocked down 3 times in the first fight, in the first round. But I want to visit a question as a referee at that point. Joe Cortez made a decision not to call that fight early. Do you feel like you would have made the same decision?
Oh, gee, I hope so, but I don't know. I don't know because I wasn't there. But I hope, because he did not call that fight and give Marquez a chance. That's why we have him in the 4th fight. So, that's what it's all about. Letting the 2 fighters get the most and that they can get out of each other. And gee whiz, 4 great fights, you can't ask for more.
And also, Cortez also was on Maidana versus Amir Khan, where a lot of people had thought when Maidana went on that punching streak on Khan that the fight maybe should have been called. I mean, do you ever look at a ref and do you ever criticize referees? And I don't mean to throw out any specific names, but
no, I really don't. If I did, I would definitely go to them personally and give my opinion, and hopefully they would take it for criticism in the right direction. the better themselves, But let me tell you something. Refereeing is the hardest job I ever saw or ever knew. Refereeing is a hard job, and for these people to get there and work hard and do their best, you got to take your head off to them and give them applause because it's a hell of a job for one to go through 27, 30 years of refereeing. He has done a wonderful job.
Now, how does one become a referee? How did you become a ref?
Well, the love of the sport, start in the amateurs and work your way up. That's the only way you can do it.
Start in the amateurs and work your way up.
I wanted to say, as far as refereeing goes, I want to take my hat off to you guys. Like you said, that has to be a tough job to be in the ring and be responsible for catching everything as far as low blows, headbutts, legal punches, illegal punches, and just when determining whether a fighter has seen too much, you should call the fight. And then you have a lot of pressure put on you if you feel like if the audience feels like you stopped the fight too soon or you let the fight go on too long. So like you said, it's a very tough job. But referees are responsible, for potentially causing or ending a potential great fight, because you can look at if you look at fights like James Kirkland and Angulo, that fight could have been called in the first round after the Kirkland knockdown, and he hit him with a barrage of punches unanswered. Right, that fight could have been called in that first round, but that referee decided to let that fight go on, and it totally flipped. So it's a tough call being inside the ring. So I definitely take my hat off to the really good referees that know when to call a fight and know when to let a fight continue. Because I've seen fights that have been also called prematurely, and so it's definitely a tough job.
Thank you.
And now, like the some of the situations, and I'm bringing the subject back up too. You caught a lot of hate off of that Chavez versus Mildred Taylor fight. The stoppage.
But
the stuff like that bother you? Do you
No.
Do you almost regret becoming a referee off of
No, never did, because I know I did the right thing. I did the right job, and that fight right there got me recognized by the medical board all over the world. I've done a lot of travels, done a lot of seminars for safety of the fighters and everything from that one call. So for as much bad press I got twice as many good press. So I'm very happy with it.
Well, and the thing is, too, calls like that have been made. You take Carl Froch and Jermaine Taylor into an example, and it's kind of like calls like that have been made by refs, but yet you seem to be the referee that everybody points the finger to. And, do you think it's because it was that high caliber of a fight? Because my whole point is saying because refs have made the same exact decision as you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But because I was doing so many high caliber fights, and so it comes with the territory. So I was able to weather the storm and get to it, and I had a great career.
What's going on with Richard Steele lately? What has Richard Steele been up to?
No, I'm just running my gym. I got a gym with about 100 kids in it. Got a young prospect, heavyweight prospect that I'm working with. Just taking it easy and trying to develop him. And he's a heavyweight, 250, 6'5", 6'6". So, I'm just working with my young kids.
Definitely, I appreciate it a lot, Richard Steele. Thanks for coming on the Cornermen.
Okay, thank you guys, and you guys keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Mama's boy, last words for Richard Steele, for Tim.
I pretty much said it all. Like I said again, thanks again for all for the great work. Like I said, referee's job is a lot harder than people give you guys credit for it. So I guess I take my hat off to the great referees. And it all goes back to pretty much what you touched on as far as fighters and trainers, that there aren't a lot of good fighters because there aren't a lot of good trainers. And I feel like another reason there aren't a lot of good fights anymore is not in the hands of just the fighters and the matchmakers, but also in the judges and the referees, because they need to be trained as well as the fighters need to be trained. We need good referees and good judges, and we'll have better fights.
Correct.
So for the good referees out there, I don't want to say thank you. So pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Richard.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. We still have Mama's Boy and Tim Cudges here. Mama's Boy, you said you got a fight coming up soon. I know your last fight didn't exactly go as planned. I mean, does that set you back, or are you ready to get back in that ring and prove everybody?
I mean, 100%. A loss sets you back. In anything. So, 100%, the loss put me back. I'm not in the position that I wanted to be in, or that I saw myself in at this point in my career. But I mean, it happens. You take it back to the drawing board. You work on your mistakes. I made a couple of huge mistakes before the camp as far as weight management, and then even in the fight, I didn't feel good. And Charlo took advantage of it. I mean, he beat me. I can't say anything to put him down. Or that he caught me with a great right hand. Put me down. The referee stopped the fight. I couldn't continue. Like it wasn't a bad call at all. I tried to get up, but it was a good call to stop that fight. And I just got, like I said, just back to the drawing board, getting better. We decided to move up in weight to fight at middleweight now. When I turned pro originally about 3 years ago, I don't think I was strong enough to handle the middleweight division at the time. I didn't have my man strength yet, so we tried to force myself to go down because I was fought and won the nationals in the amateurs at 165, and I was walking around like around 170 when I turned pro. So to make 150, we decided to go to 154. It was hard, but it wasn't impossible. Right now, as I'm getting bigger and stuff, I walk around like 178, almost 180, and to make that 154, it was extremely hard. I didn't even make weight the day of the fight for the Charlo fight. I had to actually run out, go to the sauna and shadow box and everything like that. The day of the weigh-in, after I got on the scale, I was still over. So just making that weight, and I think that definitely had a big effect on my performance in that fight. So it pushed me back a lot. I mean, a lot of people wrote me off again because, I mean, of course, my mom is my trainer, and I step up to fight, and that happens. But, I mean, it's all part of the sport. So you're only as good as your last fight. So if you let people tell it, I'm not that good right now. So we're just in the gym working on my craft, perfecting getting the weight management down. So I'm making 160 pretty easy. They said like I said, I just got off the phone. They said we're either fighting January 15th or February 9th. They're trying to iron out the exact details for the fight and the opponent and stuff like that. So I'm ready to show the world what I've learned. I'm a disciplined fighter, dedicated fighter. I'm dedicated to the craft. I know it's a very serious sport. So I just learn from it and move on. I mean, there's been world champions and great fighters that have had 2 losses early in their career, and I'm just going to be another one.
Now we just have Richard Steele on the phone. I mean, me and Tim have never stepped in the ring yet. You have, obviously. I mean, what do you think about his decision on the Med Taylor? And I'm going to get to you, Tim, too, in a second. But what do you feel his decision on the Medrick Taylor? Do you feel it was right? Do you feel like it's not our part to call?
Yeah, he made the decision at the time. I always love to give fighters 100% chance. So if it was me personally, I probably would have let the fight go on a little longer. But he made the choice to stop the fight. I don't think he was wrong for it. I just probably would have let it go a little different, let it go along a little longer. But again, he's more intelligent as a referee than I am. I'm thinking in the fighter's point of view, and the fighter's point of view is always to never quit, keep going. So I mean, he tries to protect the fighter. So I don't think there was anything wrong with that. But I mean, it's happened to me in my first professional loss. I was in a fight with a guy, Dole Carrasquillo, who's a tough veteran, and but not very skillful. And I was beating him up, dropped him in the first round, beat him up really bad in the second round. In the third round, he caught me with a right hand, and I didn't go down, but I backed up, I wobbled, I backed up. He threw a barrage of punches. My hands were still up. I felt like the referee shouldn't have started the fight, but he jumped in and started the fight. I thought it was a horrible call by the referee at that time, but I mean, he felt like he was protecting me. So, I mean, it's tough. Like I said, it's tough to get a boxer's opinion.
Now, is there any animosity towards you in that referee?
No, I mean, no, there isn't. To be honest with you, I don't even know the referee's name, to be honest with you. Like, so that's how you know there's no animosity, because I would remember his name and make sure I didn't get that referee anymore. I think that I shouldn't have got caught with that right hand. I shouldn't be in a position where the referee feels like I'm getting hit too much to the point where we have to stop the fight. So my goal is to just prevent that situation from happening, period. I mean, unfortunately, it's boxing. You step in the ring, you're going to get hit. That's the nature of the sport. But we're working on trying to limit that as much as possible. So I'm trying to take myself out that position. Obviously, I feel like if the referee would have let that fight go on, I would have been able to regain my composure and definitely win the fight, because I was 10 times better than my opponent. But it went that way. I can't regret it. Just got to move forward.
Tim, your opinion on the whole Richard Steele, Medrick Taylor, and I really don't mean to disrespect Mr. Steele because he was kind enough to come on as a first guest, but your whole outtake on the whole Chavez versus Taylor. Tim?
I think we lost him.
Hello? I think we lost him there. Well, anyway, Mama's Boy, we got Manny Pacquiao versus Marquez coming up on Saturday. Your take on? I feel like he won the first 3 fights, and this is the thing too that always gets me, is everybody always criticizes Joe Cortez as a referee, and I feel like most referees might have stopped that fight.
Yeah, I personally like Joe Cortez as a referee. My favorite referee, as far as in my experience and who I've been hearing with, hands down, is Steve Smoger, because like I said, he lets the fights go. He lets the fighters fight, and then and so I really appreciate that. So I love Steve Smoger as a referee. And then touching back on the Marquez Pacquiao fights, I agree with you. I think Marquez won the previous fights. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of tired of watching them now. Like, the fourth one, it's pretty much the same thing that happens and then the same decision. So I'm not even really interested in the fourth fight with Pacquiao and Marquez, but I'm going to go with Marquez winning the fight again.
You know what it is? It is getting kind of boring. It's kind of like we keep hearing the same old song and dance. It's kind of, oh, well, Marquez deserved to win, but Pacquiao won. But, I mean, does that show anything about Pacquiao to the fact that he wants to put the nail in the coffin under it? Because he could have left him a long time ago. Does that show anything to his character?
Oh, without a doubt. Pacquiao is one of the most stand-up fighters I've seen. As far as me being around boxing, he's a great fighter. He fights everybody, and he'll fight anybody. So the fact that he'll fight Marquez 4 times to prove that he's the better fighter is commendable. I take my hat off to him for that. That's great. But again, as far as in a fighter's point of view, I think that's great. I really respect it. As a fan of the sport, it's like, all right, let's move on. I mean, they keep giving Pacquiao a fight. I feel bad for Marquez because, like I said, I think he won all the fights, but I'm really tired of seeing the same. It's like watching the same episode of the same show. I'm tired of the episode. I want to see something else. So that's how I feel about that fight.
I'm a big fan of Adrian Broner that's coming up. I mean, who are you looking at, and besides Mama's Boy, who's the next big boxer on that market? I'm a big fan of Saul Alvarez. I feel like Saul Alvarez can beat Mayweather.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say Saul Alvarez beat Mayweather, but then again, he's a lot bigger than Mayweather and probably a lot stronger. So I'm not too sure about that fight. But like Mayweather's hands down my favorite fighter right now that's out there. Adrian Broner is another great fighter. I think there's a lot of great boxers right now. The question has never been, are they great fighters? I think it's more of the matchmaking. We don't put these great fighters in great fights. We put them in fights where the fights are all one-sided, and then it kind of kills boxing because, like you said, Adrian Broner is a great fighter. Saul Alvarez, great fighter, and the list goes on and on and on. And we have a bunch of great. I think talent is very high in the sport of boxing right now. We just have to start matching these fighters against each other. So I think it's good for boxing.
Oh, sorry about 919. You on the line? 919, you there? 919 has us on speak. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it. Like I said, it's just all around great fighters. Like you look at Austin Trout, you look at Adrian Broner. The past few weeks have shown you that we have some really good boxers now. Now it's time. Even Danny Jacobs yesterday, his fight, it was a great story. I grew up with Danny. We sparred countless amounts of times. He's a great fighter, great dude, and he looked super sharp yesterday. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for his comeback. I mean, he fought hard, and he's back, and he's a great fighter. So, like I said, there's a bunch of great fighters in a bunch of great different weight classes. So, I think boxing is looking up. I think it's going to be uphill from here as long as we match the fights the right way. People want to see good fights. So you got Kid Chocolate, you got Danny Garcia, you got all these good fighters. Let's get them against good opponents. Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just got a text message from Richard Steele. He thanked us for having him on the show. It was always a pleasure to have him on the show. Is that weird from your point of view to interview a referee? It's not like you guys are really on opposing corners, but it's a conflict.
No, I mean, it actually wasn't weird at all. I mean, it's great to get different perspectives of the same sport. I mean, it's a sport that we all love, so if I can hear everybody's side of it, it's great. I mean, like, he has a totally different view, like I said, from a fighter or from a fan. He's in the ring looking for something totally different than what we're looking for. So it's great to hear what he's looking for and how they call fights and stuff like that. And it'd be great to hear from a judge. It'd be great to hear from other fighters. It's just, I mean, like I said, everyone that loves the sport, I love to hear how they view it. So it was great having him on.
Robert the Ghost Guerrero, who we're looking to get on next week, fought Andre Berto last week. I'm not sure if you caught the fight. What an amazing fight, by the way. But,
yeah, I saw the fight. I saw the fight.
Do you think Berto messed up by trying to turn into a Floyd Mayweather type defense, if you will?
Yeah, that kind of threw me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because Berto, again, that's another great fighter. A lot of people don't give Berto the credit that he deserves. A lot of people gave his chin a lot of credit last week because they said he didn't go down. He's a fighter, but Berto's a great fighter. I don't know what made him come out with that style. But I think the mistake was made in him jumping right in to fight Robert Guerrero in the first place. I think he should have took another fight after coming off such a long layoff. People don't realize how that layoff really affects you. Just getting back in front of that type of crowd and the boos or the applaud and the lights. I mean, you have to get back into that feel again. So I think that was a real tough fight for him to take, and I commend him for taking that fight against the Ghost. And it was a good fight. Everyone's writing Berto off now. I don't think he's done. I think he's going to get back to the drawing board, correct a few things. I think he tried something new. It didn't work. But we need to give boxers and the people that put their lives on the line and they're accepting the ring, we have to give them a little bit more credit and a little bit more leniency. Everybody wants to see great fights, but then as soon as two great fighters fight each other and one loses, everyone's ready to call the fight off. Like, I was on Twitter and I saw people saying, well, we'll never see Berto in a big fight again. Well, Berto will never get six figures to fight. And I disagree with that 100%. Like I said, I commend him for taking such a tough fight after so long. And I would love to see him
about Berto, but at the same time, you say Cotto should hang up the gloves. I mean, what's the difference there?
Well, the difference is I think Cotto is at the end as far as, because Cotto fights nothing but tough fights. You can't name a fight that Cotto's been in the past 5 years that wasn't tough, that he didn't take a lot of punches, that his face didn't look the way it looked yesterday. He took a lot of damage, and he's a great fighter. He has wife and kids. Even his mentality is a little different. If you heard him and when he spoke to Max Kellerman in that thing with that face-off on with him and Margarito, and Margarito talking about he'd die in the ring, and Cotto was like, I have a family, and I'm not trying to die in the ring, which, I mean, I commend that 100%, but when you start thinking like that, I think that you're at a different level in the sport. Like, because all the fighters that I know at the level that I'm at are willing to put their lives on the line every time they go to the ring. We'd rather die in the ring than have a fight be stopped or something like that. So I think once you lose that kind of mentality, it's hard to be a world champion against the people with that mentality, because really when it comes down to it, the person who can take the most pain is going to be the person who can win tough, hard, close fights like that. And I think Cotto lost that. So that's why I'm saying Cotto should hang it up. Not because he's not a good fighter, but because his mentality is different. People are writing Berto off because of the fight, not his mentality. Berto's a tough fighter, and he didn't show you at any point in that fight that he wasn't a tough fighter. He showed, if anything, he showed that he was tougher than a lot of people gave credit for. But he just made, I think, a bad choice in that opponent at that time and the style of fighting he chose to fight in that fight. But I don't think he should be written off at all. He still showed that he's tough. He wants to fight. So why write him off? That's the difference in my opinion.
Okay. Now does and this is a touchy subject too, so feel free to answer it. Feel free not to.
Okay.
I feel like I wish I would have asked this question when Richard Steele was here. Now, do you feel like Margarito had used loaded gloves in the beginning? And it's a two-part question.
Okay. Well, to answer that part,
as a fighter, how do you feel about him personally? Go ahead.
As a fighter, I have no ill will towards Margarito. He's a good fighter, and that's that. But I personally 100% think that he used loaded gloves in that fight with Cotto and probably a bunch of fights before that. So I don't respect cheaters in this sport. I mean, we're putting our lives on the line to get in the ring as it is. Just with 10-ounce gloves on and the regular gloves, we're getting punched in the face, we're getting brain damage, and I think any unfair advantage you get as far as like steroids or loaded gloves, I can't respect it at all. So I don't respect that in him at all. But at the same time, like they said, you make mistakes, you learn from it. I mean, I personally wouldn't have mind if they said that he couldn't box anymore. That wouldn't have bothered me at all. They let him fight again. It doesn't bother me again either. Like whatever. But yeah, I mean, he put Cotto. He could have really seriously hurt Cotto that day with loaded gloves on. So I don't respect any fighter that cheats in this sport. So I didn't like that at all. You have fighters that are in the gym for hours from the morning to the sun come up, sun go down, running, working. And then you have somebody that's probably not working that hard. Load their gloves up and punch them in the face. I mean, think about that. As far as a fighter, how would that make you feel? You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. I mean, even as a fan, do you feel like he's still kind of the reason why Cotto's mentality might not be all there?
I 100% think that's why. I 100% think it's because of Margarito. Because just imagine how that feels psychologically. You're in the ring with a fighter that you're better than, and it's clear from the first round that you're faster. I mean, he couldn't hit him. He couldn't catch up with him. Cotto was in and out. Cotto was beating him up, and you're beating somebody up like that, and then they're still able to break you down. I mean, that has to do a lot, and really do that amount of damage. Like crack, he fractured a little bit of his skull. Like, I mean, how can you be the same fighter after that? Mentally, physically, emotionally, like, how can you be the same fighter? Now, your wife's out there watching that fight, crying. She had to leave the arena. You can't go in the ring with that same animal that you were before. So, I don't fault Cotto at all for how he switched his style up and everything. Like, I mean, that was tough, but it's really unfortunate.
Absolutely, and I mean, you took a knockdown your last fight in the ring. How does that affect you? Because, they say the loss makes or breaks the fighter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
and I want to say,
what do you think? Like, do you feel like you're just ready to go in there and kill it, or what's your whole outtake on life now?
I'm not gonna lie to you. After the fight, like I said, a knockout does a lot to you mentally. It messes with your head because you feel like, wow, am I good enough? Am I as good as I thought I was? Do I have a chin? I start questioning my own chin. Because I personally didn't think Charlo was a big puncher. I still don't think Charlo's a big puncher. I think I was caught with a punch, and it was a very good punch, and I just wasn't there as far as the weight. And it was a great punch, and it does mess with you mentally. So I understand why they say a loss can make or break a fighter. I mean, after that fight was my first sparring session back, I was the most nervous to spar that I've ever been because I'm just like, oh man, when I get hit again in my head, what's going to happen. Am I going to drop? Am I going to be dizzy? So it messed with me mentally a lot. So now I see why. Because at first you think you lose, you get knocked out. You want to get right back in the ring and show people that was a mistake. Something happened. Something went wrong. You can prove that you're a great fighter. But I think you need that. You need a little bit of a break just to get yourself back in the game 100%. Because I wasn't back in the game 100% when I first started sparring. I was scared to get hit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Until I got hit again. Once I got hit again, and I realized I was the same person, and I can take punches, and I don't have a bad chin. It's just that I was caught with a really good shot at a really good time in a really good spot with the weight being the way I was and feeling weak, and it happened. But like I said, I think I needed that time. So I think they need to give fighters time after knockouts to just to battle those demons that you have within yourself. So now I feel back 100%. But if you ask my mom or my other coaches, they'll tell you right after the fight I wasn't the same fighter for at least 2 months because you question yourself. You question yourself. So
let's get into that story real quick because a lot of people might not know Dennis Mama's Boy Douglin. I know you. I've seen you fight 5 times from the PAL gyms, and I've met you numerous of times. But let's get into the Mama's Boy story because I find it the most creative story. It's Dennis Mama's Boy Douglin, and your mom is your trainer. Like, that's great. How did that happen?
Oh, my mom grew up. My whole family grew up in boxing. My uncle was a professional boxer and is a trainer now. I have cousins that's a professional boxer. My mom was a boxer. She fought amateur. She grew up in the sport, and she brought me to the gym. She got me into boxing, and it just pretty much took off from there. I wasn't training with her originally, but eventually I felt like I was learning more from her, and we just decided to go with her training me. And a lot of people look at it like it's some type of rouse to get attention, like we owe the Mama's Boy. You look at it as a fraud, and a lot of people feel like a female can't train a male in boxing and stuff like that. But really, I think she's a great trainer. Rich touched on it before that. There's not a lot of great trainers in the sport of boxing, and a lot of people look at her and say that she's not a great trainer, and she probably falls in that category. And I disagree 100% because when you look at a female, you look at someone who has a keen eye for detail. That's all they look at, details, which is why they're so great at the stuff that they're great at. So I think she's a great trainer because she worries about the small stuff, pivoting, make sure my weight is on my front foot when I'm turning into my left hand, making sure I bring my hands right back to my face. The little stuff that is skipped on in the sport now, the stuff that people ignore, is the stuff that she focuses on. Like, you'll be surprised at the type of things she's taught me in amateurs as far as, like, noticing where judges are sitting. Because if you look at the amateur format, there's 5 judges at a fight. So that means on one side, there's 2 judges on one side, and there's 1 judge on the other side. She was down to details as far as making sure I tried to angle myself so that the 2 judges can see me more, so I have more chances of getting more points based off the angle I'm in, and noticing how big the ring is, or getting in the ring and noticing whether it's a puncher's ring or a boxer's ring as far as how much buoyancy the ring has, if I'm going to bounce up and down or if my feet sink in. Like, she's that technical. And I think, like, that's what the sport is missing, but people don't give her that acknowledgement because she's a female, or because a lot of people think that she's an attractive female. So that's all they look at. They don't look at the knowledge that she brings to the table. And that's why I love working with her. It's past the gimmick. It's past the whole Mama's Boy and me trying to get a name off that. I respect her knowledge of the sport.
It's got to be kind of weird, though, working, because in a sense you work with your mom.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
And that's
your
job. Yeah, your job is with your mom. So isn't it like sometimes when you're like, I just want another trainer?
I mean, I have 2 trainers. I have another trainer that works with me. His name is Dwight Fleming, and I work for him as well. But she we go back and forth all the time. We at each other's head all the time. We argue all the time. But I mean, like I said, it's hard working with your mom. But like I said, she brings something out of me that I don't think anybody else could bring out of me. Like, she knows how to press my buttons and push me to a level that I don't think another trainer could get me to. So I love it. I mean, all the good and bad that's involved with it, the negative press that we get with it, the positive press that we get with it. I mean, I love it all. I think we're gonna make history.
We have Tim Kutches back. Tim, we were talking about the Chavez Meldrick Taylor fight with Richard Steele. Like, what did you feel about the stoppage?
You know what? I'm always going to be biased in this debate because I'm a Philly person. So Meldrick Taylor was my guy. I didn't like the stoppage. I thought 2 seconds left for the biggest fight of his career. At that aspect, as a fan, I didn't like the stoppage. But, you know, from what he was saying, I understand. I'm not, like, just the 2 seconds left killed me. I don't know. I would like to be like, oh, yeah, Richard Steele made the right choice. I like Richard. I have the utmost respect for him. But I'm a Philly fight fan. I'm from Philly, born and raised. I can't say that was a good stoppage.
Now we started talking about Mama's Boy, about predictions. Me and Mama's Boy still have Manny Pacquiao losing next week. I know your opinion on the fight is a little different.
I mean, more Marquez. Like, I had Marquez, I think, 2 out of the 3 fights. Marquez surprised the hell out of me the last fight. The last fight, I thought he stood no chance. I thought 147 was too big. We've seen what Floyd had done to him, and I believe it was like 140 or catch weight to 145. And it was just, I didn't think he stood a chance, but he brought the heat, and it comes down to styles make fights. These guys, no matter what weight class, no matter who we feel is more superior, are going to have an absolute war. So come December 8th, come this Saturday, it's going to be a war. And I'm favoring Marquez, but, you know, the jury's still out if he can win a decision against Manny Pacquiao. So
yeah, and that's the whole problem, too. And I wanted to touch on this with Mama's Boy, too, because, I mean, now with the loss on the record from the Showtime loss, it's like, do you feel like they will put you up against a favorite, and would you be scared of getting robbed? And do you think that's a possibility this Saturday? That's for both of you guys. I want Mama's Boy to answer it first, of course.
As far as me going up against a favorite, I mean, that's the position. It's not even a point of would they put me as a favorite. That's the position I put myself in. And I mean, that's the position that any up-and-coming boxer should be willing to take. You have to fight a favorite eventually. Like, that's how the sport is supposed to work. You're supposed to be a prospect to your contender until you're challenging your title, and you shouldn't be the favorite going into the title. That's how the sport's supposed to go. So, I mean, the Lord definitely put me in that position where I know I'm gonna have to win a fight that I'm not supposed to win. I'm supposed to take a fight and win a fight that I'm not supposed to win. But again, I was just in that position when I fought Steven Martinez on Friday Night Fights. I wasn't supposed to win that fight, and I fought that fight on. And then they put me back in the ring again with Charlo, and I wasn't supposed to win that fight. Unfortunately, I didn't win it. But I mean, I'm no stranger to that situation, and I embrace it. I have no problem with fighting the best or whoever they think is supposed to beat me, because my job is to prove them wrong.
But does it worry you that you might win it, and the judges still give it to the favorite?
I try not to think about that. I try to go in there, fight my fight, and hope that the judges make the right decision. You can't go in thinking about judges robbing and stuff like that. You try to hope that everybody's going to do the right thing and give you the fight. I'm sure at the end of the fight, Austin Trout felt like he might have lost that fight because he was in New York and he was going against the favorite. But the judges did the right thing yesterday, and you just have to hope that you're in that same position. So I respect him for coming into, I wouldn't say Cotto's backyard because Cotto doesn't live in New York, but it pretty much is his backyard because he runs Madison Square Garden whenever he comes out here. So I respect Trout for coming out here and putting on the performance that he put on. And I respect the judges for making the right decision. And you just hope that every time out, that's what happens.
Tim?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really... Any fighter that goes into another fighter's hometown has to know he has to get the stoppage. 9 times out of 10, he's going to need to get the stoppage. It's going to be a dominating performance. For example, fighters going overseas to Germany, they really need to win by stoppage 9 times out of 10. But
do you feel that's fair, though?
No, absolutely not fair. It's what hurts our sport the most is these bullshit decisions. You need to... The winner should win. The guy who put in that work in the ring, the guy that earned victory should be the clear victor. But that's just not the case in the sport we love, and that's something as fans we have to deal with, and that's why a lot of people have that MMA talk. But they're just as bad, so I don't even fathom those discussions.
Yeah,
Shout out to Lovemore Nadu from Australia. He was pro boxer, former champion, fought Mount Naji a couple times, made his MMA debut this past Saturday and won by submission.
Oh, actually, shout out to Paulie. Paulie did a great job commentating yesterday. I just want to say that. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Oh, no, I was there, so I didn't hear him. But he always does a great job, man. Paulie's one of the most knowledgeable and well-spoken boxers I know. So I'm glad he's getting that shine now as a commentator, because since he's been doing the commentating at Showtime, I love hearing the broadcast.
I wanted to touch on one more topic with you guys, if you guys could. Ricky Hatton came back. He lost. It wasn't the comeback he expected. Do you respect the comeback? Do you think he should have just called it quits? Mama's boy, we'll start with you.
That's a tough one. Again, like I said, Ricky Hatton didn't take a lot of damage in his career, so you would think that if he wanted to come back, who are we to say, like, oh, no, he should hang it up? Because, I mean, he lost to Pacquiao and Mayweather. I mean, those if you're going to lose, those are the two people you lose to. So, I mean, him coming back, I wasn't upset with that. I think he should have came back. That was a tough fight to come right back into, and I don't know what he's going to do from here moving forward, but I'm not going to say that I don't respect the comeback. I respect it. And it's hard to get boxing 100% out. We're born boxers. I mean, it's hard. You look at people like Roy Jones, who everyone, and me just saying Cotto should quit or should retire, but it's hard to tell a boxer they should stop because they love what they do. It's not even, a lot of times it's not even about the money. I mean, of course, money runs everything, but a lot of times it's for the love of the sport. If we're not training for a fight, we're just getting fat. So let's train for a fight. That's how a lot of people feel.
And before I answer, let me get a quick plug in. This upcoming weekend, Friday, Saturday, there's a ton of boxing on GFL.TV. They got the Newark, New Jersey card featuring the All or Nothing promotions featuring Derek Take It to the Bank Webster, Michael Slick Anderson, Ronson Frank, and a couple other guys, Tyab Beal. And then there's the Battle of Badges at MSG this Saturday. It's basically the NYPD versus the fire department, I believe it's FDNY. Yeah, so they're going to be going in a bunch of amateur fights. And also on Saturday, Vinny Matalone's going to be fighting Byron Polly. And there's going to be a couple other local New York guys in the card. Frank Larza. Should be a ton of boxing action. But, yeah, I just lost the train of thought. What was the topic
Ricky
again?
Hatton.
Ricky Hatton. All right. No, I totally respect Ricky Hatton's comeback. He came back from hell and back in his personal life. He buried some demons. He came back. He took on, even though the guy just got stopped by Paul, he took on top world-class opposition, a former champion. He could have took a much, much easier fight. He could have took on a local UK guy and still sold out the arena. That didn't matter. But he took a tough fight. He took a fight that he knew he could lose, and he gave it his all. He got stopped by a body shot, vicious body shot, and from what I hear, those punches to the liver take any man out, and we've seen it before. But I completely respect his comeback and his decision to retire. He gave it his all one last time. Of course, he doesn't need the money. He's a UK promoter. His name alone sells tickets, put asses in seats. So he made the decision for the right reasons, and he came back, fought his heart out. Ricky Hatton will always be a true champion, in my opinion, and future Hall of Fame.
Now, my favorite new boxer, Sal Alvarez. Me and Mama's boy was arguing about it earlier. I think he could beat Floyd. Your opinion on the situation?
Is this me or Dennis?
No, you. Me and Mama's boy argued about this earlier. We talked about it.
Canelo will absolutely not beat Floyd Mayweather Jr. Maybe if Floyd Mayweather Jr. ages a couple more years and then they fight. But if it's any time in the immediate future, absolutely not. But I'm hearing rumors stirring about Guerrero, Mayweather possibly in March. Because Guerrero went on that campaign. Him and his publicist, Mario Serrano. Mario Serrano did it great incredible job of getting Guerrero's name out there. And
shout out to Mario.
And I was like, all right, if I keep getting emails about Guerrero fighting Mayweather, I'm going to jump out a window. But, you know.
No, but you know what? I mean, but it's more than Mario just doing that PR work. I mean, Guerrero went in there and beat an Andre Berto who nobody really thought he was going to win.
Oh, no, yeah, I know, and I'm 100% behind the fight now. He earned a spot. I'm not sure if well, it's tough to say who really earns a fight with Floyd, but it makes sense now.
All right, we'll end it like this. We'll go to Mama's Boy, and then we'll close out with our Twitters. Mama's Boy, who do you think deserves to fight Floyd next?
That's a tough fight, like you said. That's a tough call. Like you said, it's hard to call the next opponent that's good enough or worthy to fight Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. I mean, they're the top of the sport, so it's hard to say. I would say out of everybody, probably Guerrero or Sal Alvarez if they could come up with a weight. I don't want to see Floyd Mayweather go up to Sal Alvarez. I want to see Sal Alvarez come down, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't think that fight is going to be made. And that's about it. Outside of Pacquiao, I'm not really interested in seeing him fight anybody, to be 100% honest with you.
Tim?
Who deserves to fight with Canelo or with Mayweather next? I mean, I would love to see. I'll take Guerrero. I would take that fight. I feel Guerrero earned it. I would love to see Canelo.
Are we ever going to see Pacquiao, Marquez? Are we ever going to see Pacquiao Mayweather?
I'm leaning towards absolutely not in this situation. But you can always hold on to hope. If he beats Marquez but doesn't do it that convincingly again, I think Bob Arum will go for the cash out. But other than that, I don't see the fight being made. Top Rank and Golden Boy can't work together. And this is a topic for a whole other show. But the beef between like the West Coast, East Coast rivalry that's going on, like the rap in the 90s between between Golden Boy and Top Rank is ridiculous. It's hurting fighters. It's hurting the fights we want to see. I want Garcia versus Rios. I want Matisse versus Rios. That would be explosive. But these fights aren't going to happen because of this beef. So I'm leaning towards it's going to be Guerrero versus Mayweather. And after that, probably Canelo versus Mayweather.
All right, Mama's Boy, take us out of here. Your Twitter, the Cornermen. We're going to be back next Sunday, hopefully with Robert Guerrero. Tim, you'll be joining us again?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mama's Boy, take us out of here.
Thanks everybody for listening. Like I said, we're here every Sunday. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at the Mama's Boy. It's DA Mama's Boy, MOMMAS Boy. Follow me on Instagram. Request me on Facebook, and just look out for me in my comeback fight, and get ready for me to try to make another run to get myself in position to win the world title.
Cornerman next Sunday.